According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, BNB, Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, could be attacked while incarcerated. Now that Luna has returned to prison, will her unborn child be in danger? Watchers of BNB will remember that Bill Spencer, Don Diamant, felt sorry for Luna when she was in the slammer before. After being assaulted, Luna persuaded Bill to take her back to the Spencer estate, where she was placed under house arrest until William granted her a pardon. Naturally, when Deputy Chief Bradley Baker, Dan Martin, showed up to take Luna into custody, she attempted to use the same danger card. Luna was taken away and locked up again in spite of her protests and worries for the safety of her pregnant child. Although it's clear that Luna was saying whatever she could to get out of getting punished, there could be some validity to her worries. Luna was attacked when she was incarcerated before, so it may easily happen again. It's possible that Luna and the infant will actually end up in danger. Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, may become angry with Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, if she causes a baby tragedy because she is the one who called the police on Luna. Given that Luna is transporting valuable goods, Bill may perhaps feel a bit bad about not doing more to keep her in the Spencer estate. The longer this pregnancy lasts, the more genuine it will seem and the more the Spencers will be concerned about the future of this child. Of course, we also need to take into account the potential for Luna to plan an attack on a jail. Luna might easily make friends with a few other prisoners and persuade them to give her some hard treatment. Luna might sustain enough injuries to make this plausible, but not enough to endanger the unborn child. Luna could be using this as just another ruse to escape from prison and return to Bill's luxurious estate. Considering what Luna has demonstrated, we wouldn't rule anything out. In any event, according to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Luna may revise her plans and reveal some unexpected information. The days that followed Luna Nozawa's shocking return to prison were nothing short of a haunting echo of her past, filled with the same steel clang of closing bars, the same sharp scent of disinfectant and fear, the same watchful glares from women who had long since learned how to measure weakness and exploit it. And though Luna tried to maintain her composure, her trembling hands betrayed the storm of emotions inside her. Emotions that oscillated between fury, despair, and a dangerous spark of cunning determination. She knew she had been down this road before, she knew the system would not be kind to her, and she knew that no one, no guard, no inmate, no warden, would see her as anything other than a spoiled designer's daughter turned scandalous socialite carrying the heir to a billionaire's fortune. And yet, beneath that veneer of fragility, there pulsed a relentless fire that refused to be extinguished. A calculating instinct that told her that survival meant not only enduring but manipulating every moment to her advantage, and as she sat alone in her cold cell on that first sleepless night, she whispered to her unborn child promises of survival, of revenge, of freedom, swearing that she would not let this world break them again. Not this time. Not when the stakes were higher and the baby growing within her was her one weapon, her one shield. Her one way to secure power in a world that had decided she was disposable. Meanwhile, at the Spencer mansion, the guilt that plagued Bill was a dark, unrelenting shadow, gnawing at him as he replayed that moment. Luna's terrified face, her desperate plea, the sound of her handcuffs clicking shut, the way his own conscience had warred with his pride as he let her go. And though Katie tried to reassure him that Luna's actions had consequences, and that he couldn't keep rescuing everyone who reminded him of a lost soul, Bill couldn't shake the gnawing sense that he had turned his back on something precious, something fragile, something that could still be redeemed, and as he poured himself a glass of scotch late one night, staring out at the city lights, he imagined what it would mean if something truly happened to her in that hellhole. What if she lost the baby? What if she was attacked again? What if Will's unborn child was taken from them before it even had a chance to live? And that thought, that unbearable thought, clawed at him until his chest burned with the urge to fix it, to protect, to save her all over again, even if everyone else believed she deserved to rot behind bars. Across town, Will Spencer was fighting his own demons, torn between outrage, grief, and a hollow sense of guilt he didn't know how to articulate, because for all the anger he carried toward Luna for her betrayal, her manipulations, and the chaos she had brought into his life, he couldn't shake the memory of their laughter, the memory of her whispering his name, the memory of her wide, frightened eyes when she told him about the baby. Their baby. And now that she was gone, locked away, possibly in danger again, He found himself haunted by the possibility that he had lost not just a lover but a piece of himself, and Electra, ever perceptive, sensed it. She saw it in his restless pacing, his refusal to eat, his distracted stare whenever Luna's name came up in conversation, and though she tried to hide her own anxiety, her fear that Luna's shadow would always linger between them, it seeped through in the quiet moments, in the way her voice tightened when she said the baby's name, in the way her hand trembled when she folded Will's shirts, in the way her own reflection seemed to mock her for believing she could compete with the ghost of a woman who refused to stay buried in anyone's past. Inside the prison walls, the tension was suffocating. Luna quickly learned that whispers spread faster than contraband, and that news of her pregnancy had already made her a target. Some saw her as an opportunity, a means to curry favor with guards or make a quick payday from the outside, while others, hardened and cruel, saw her as an insult to their world, a privileged girl pretending to suffer among them. And on her third day back behind bars, she felt the first brush of real danger when 2 inmates cornered her in the laundry room, their voices low and taunting, their eyes glittering with malice as they mentioned the Spencer baby, and asked her what it felt like to be carrying a billionaire's future. Luna tried to bluff, to smile, to talk her way out, but her voice shook, and that was all it took for the tension to shift. One shoved her against the washer, the other whispered that accidents happened all the time in prison. But before they could strike, a guard's footsteps echoed in the corridor, and they vanished like smoke, leaving Luna trembling, clutching her stomach, whispering to her unborn child that she would never let anyone hurt them. Not now, not ever, even if she had to fight. Dirty. That night in her cell, Luna began to form a plan so desperate, so daring, that even she wondered if she could pull it off. She would stage her own attack, just enough to gain sympathy, just enough to make Baker or Bill or anyone with power step in again. She had done it once, she could do it again. But this time she would make sure that every bruise, every cut, every sobbing plea was perfectly orchestrated to trigger outrage and guilt in the right hearts. As the days passed, Luna's manipulation began to take shape. She befriended a few select inmates. Those who were desperate, those who owed favors, those who could be bought with promises of money, protection, or connections once she got out. And she whispered her plan in their ears, crafting a narrative of survival and maternal fear so vivid that even the most jaded of them began to believe it. She told them she didn't need real pain, just enough for the guards to panic, enough to get her transferred, maybe even sent back to house arrest under medical care. But she didn't realize that in prison, control is a myth. Once violence starts, it rarely stops on command, and as the day of the staged attack drew near, she found herself doubting whether she could contain what she had set in motion. Meanwhile, outside, Lee learned of Luna's pregnancy through hospital channels and confronted Poppy in a confrontation that was volcanic, brutal, and drenched in years of resentment. Poppy accused Lee of meddling yet again, of saving Luna for her own guilt-driven reasons, while Lee accused Poppy of being a negligent mother, a woman who'd rather chase men than protect her own blood. Finn, torn between his duty as a doctor and his compassion as family, tried to mediate, but when Poppy spat that Luna deserved whatever came to her for ruining so many lives, including Will Spencer's, Lee slapped her, and the echo of that slap lingered long after Finn stormed out, disgusted with both of them, his thoughts already drifting to Bill and whether there was still time to intervene. At Forrester Creations, the drama played out in parallel as Deke basked in the GL.